Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to That's a Shoot. It's the new year, folks, and we're gonna have some fun this year. I think with That's a Shoot. Um, Before we get into the topic, I think what we're gonna do this year is we're gonna probably have to just do that. Just do what we're gonna do today. Is just have topics. We're not gonna talk about Raw or SmackDown or NXT or AEW or anything like that, unless something specific that happened on the show for our That's a Shoot. Otherwise, that shoot is just going to be a main topic and talking about something for 15 to 20 minutes, maybe more if it gets down to it. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. I think that's gonna happen this year. This year also as well, we'll definitely try our best to make sure that it happens every week, every Friday. By the way, every Friday, unless it's a predictions episode. Unless the predictions episode comes out on Saturday. So every Friday, that's a shoot. Unless it's the predictions episode, then it'll be on Saturday. So for this upcoming month, we've got one on Friday, one next Friday, and then the other Friday, no, we'll be on Saturday. Although we're not working on Friday, that Friday, there will be a top 10 list of the top 10 matches at the Royal Rumble. So you're gonna be it's gonna include Royal Rumble matches. It's gonna include actual matches, all good enough for you to count down. So yeah, so while 2 weeks from now you'll have a countdown top 10. Today's episode is just the top 10 things I want to see in wrestling. Not a countdown. Doesn't go from 10 to 1, anything like that. It's just things that I want to see happen this year in the world of wrestling. So that said, let's go ahead and let's kick things off. I want crowds back. Let's just start there. Honestly, I want crowds back. Who knows when we actually will get crowds back? But with the vaccine rolled out and everything like that and happening in a very few several months or so, I'm hoping that when summertime comes around, we will truly be able to have full stadiums of fans, and maybe you start with the smaller stadiums. Maybe you don't start with the 10,000 stadiums, and that may be something that the WWE may want to think about doing it anyway. Yeah, stop going to the monstrous buildings where you have 10,000 and 20,000 fans, as we have seen even beforehand. They were not selling out these buildings to begin with. So maybe you just go ahead and you start with small. You start with the 2, 3, 4,000 seat stadiums, seat buildings for Raw and for SmackDown. That's one of the things I've noticed that doing by doing certain things like this, these stadiums have gotten more and more. It could feel more and more togetherness. So I think that's something that they should think about doing it when we can get the crowds back. So let's hopefully that happens. I want Roman Reigns to stay champion all of 2021. I've got a fantasy booking for Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. Actually, it's both the same. Um, I'm trying to figure out whether or not I want to do that next week, or I want to do another thing I have written down for that. So it depends on if I change my mind. But I would want to see Roman Reigns stay champion the entire 2021. No one else needs the title right now. They got Big E as Intercontinental Champion. That's good. He can like that Daniel Bryan, if they're turning Shinsuke Nakamura babyface, that's perfect. You have people for him to fight. Over the weeks and over the months of him being champion, but he should be champion all the way through 2021. There's no, as long as he is still right now, there's still this head of the table character. It's fascinating and it's wonderful and it needs to stay around. I need AEW fans to calm the fuck down. I need you to calm the fuck down. Listen, your shows aren't that great. You're just, oh, it's the greatest thing ever, and oh, this is so good, and it's always such a great show, and it's 4 out of 4, and it's 4 out of 4, and it's 5 out of 5. No, it isn't. Your show has been consistently average. It really has. Let's stop kidding ourselves. It's been consistently average. And when it comes to the 4 shows, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and AEW, it's fourth. It just is. Stop. I did a video about the Emperor's New Clothes several months ago, and it still applies today. Okay? Come on. This is, just because something is new doesn't mean something's good. It's all right. And they did a nice tribute to Brody Lee. Okay? Wonderful tribute show to Brody Lee. But we've seen what WWE did with Eddie Guerrero, the 2 shows they did when they put on for Raw and on Raw and SmackDown, and they were just as great. Tribute shoot for Owen Hart after he passed away was great. So let's just calm the fuck down. This is AEW. This is not Attitude Era WWE. Okay, let's stop. I said this last year. It did not happen. I should say this year. The women should main event SummerSlam. They've main evented the Royal Rumble with the Royal Rumble, first ever women's Royal Rumble match. They've done WrestleMania. They did the Survivor Series a couple years ago when the NXT brand was around. They've done TLC several years in a row, and the main event, the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, which Sasha and Charlotte being the first ever one. So there have been some shows that they have main evented. But the one main show out of the big 4 that they haven't is the SummerSlam, and I think it's there. Um, I don't know if Becky Lynch is coming back or not, um, but I do think that when it comes down to it, with Charlotte back, you have some people there that you can do. You can have Charlotte, Asuka. I think you can have Bayley and Sasha Banks, and you can have so many others. There's a way to main event SummerSlam. And I think the women should get the opportunity to do it. How about you AEW wrestlers? How about you listen to your elders? Instead of you getting on your ass and you getting your ass on your back and you're going to Twitter and you're leaking stories about not listening to Jim Ross or anything like that, why don't you go ahead and just listen to him? Listen to him because he's right. I hate that spot. When you, as he said, I guess he said quails, and everybody thought he said coils because they're dumb as fuck. But you get in that cluster and then you go have somebody jump off the top onto all of them, and it's all of them. It's so stupid. I mean, there needs to be less dives, and there needs to be less, or at least less, less contrived spots where we're all gonna get together, we're all gonna bust up here. You come over here, and I'm gonna do this and wait for the guy to jump on top of us. No, if there's something that you can't do you know, that looks contrived, then it shouldn't be done. I don't care how spectacular it looks or anything like that. Like even like with, you know, like even like with Keith Lee and he did, a couple weeks ago he did a Spanish Fly with Drew McIntyre, and as good as that looked, it's contrived. The best one I've seen was John Morrison. He did it, he did it like sometime last year, around this time last year. He did a Spanish Fly. It was not looking contrived at all, and it was actually great. So I think that's something that you know, when the older guys speak, these wrestlers should listen. And even to the point to where like Chris Jericho made the point that he was talking to the Lucha Brothers. Remember when AEW just first came out, AEW, Chris Jericho said he had talked to the Lucha Brothers about having to actually tag, in a tag match. Why you not tagging? So it's the AEW wrestlers listen to the others. You got Hall of Famers all around there. Jake the Snake Roberts, Tully Blanchard, Sting, Arn Anderson, Jim Ross. You get guys who know more about this business than you would ever know. And if they tell you to do something, you should do it. You should do it. You really should. Less injuries. Yeah, that's another thing. I No, it's tough, but there's been a lot of injuries this year. Finn Balor, keep getting injured. Ken Cross was injured seemingly at every time they won the championship. And there been some other injuries on the main roster and things like that. So if 2021 we can have less injuries, if we can get everybody healthy and have less injuries and have full rosters uh, on both Raw and SmackDown and NXT and AEW, not having to deal with anything like that, I think that would be a good thing for all involved. A change at the Survivor Series as well. Yeah, I am. I think I like most people. I think I'm ready for the Survivor Series to not be about brand warfare. I think I'm ready for that. And I think this goes to another one of my things I want to see this year. And I'll put these two together. Not only a change in Survivor Series, but the unifying the champions. So, and what that means is getting rid of the brand split altogether. And I think that needs to happen because that would help. I think that would help the ratings of Raw. The fact that Raw's ratings are going down because you know not some of the bigger names do not go there. Roman's on SmackDown and Sasha Banks is on SmackDown. A lot of other things like that. And for as good as Drew McIntyre is, it's he's not keeping up with the ratings and helping. And right now, it might be good to have the hottest thing in wrestling on both shows. It doesn't have to wrestle. He doesn't have to do anything. But he just needs to be there. I think so that the fans can see and watch him and get involved with him. So, and I think maybe what you might want to do is you know maybe what you need to do is I talked about SummerSlam. I talked about SummerSlam. So maybe what you do is that at SummerSlam you unify the champions, you unify the titles somewhere like that, and then their main event would be for the women's titles. It would be a three-way. It would be like the Raw women's and the SmackDown women's, and then maybe someone between who won a battle royal between both shows of women, and then all three of them go for the championship or something like that. Or maybe even what you even do is you go ahead and you just make it. You do the biggest thing. If Becky Lynch is back, you put Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Bayley, and Sasha Banks in a fatal four-way elimination match for the new WWE Women's Champion, and that's the main event. All four horsewomen put on a fantastic match. Whatever. And Survivor Series comes up, and I think that you need to, some things need to happen. and then you can. It doesn't have to be Raw versus SmackDown with these matches. Some of these matches can be, more or less, put together correctly. Or, you know, you can save the unifying champions for the Survivor Series. That's another way to go about it. To have your champions unified at Survivor Series. That's another way to go. Or, and what some people and what probably some people probably more are open to, um, make it mean something, right? What does the brand get for winning the matches, right? So if you have the champions, the women's champions, the secondary champions, the tag champions, um, and then you have the men's and women's, um, you know, team. You have six matches. Then maybe you have a seventh match just in case it's a tie, right? And you come up with one on the fly. It's a random match, whatever. And you have that match. So then, what do the friends get? Do they get money? Do they get um do they get the number 30th spot in the Royal Rumble match? You know, does is is what's the deal? Something to make it mean something. Just so that I think people are a little bit tired of the Survivor Series that's coming after, as soon as November comes, it's Raw versus SmackDown, and something about it does need to change. We're down to our last two. Here we are. No more cinematic matches. Okay, it it peaked at the Boneyard match, and it went all downhill from there. Every cinematic match has just been garbage. It's just been garbage, and it's um and maybe you could even call the greatest wrestling match ever between Randy Orton and Edge. You could call it a cinematic match because the way it was shot. The fact that they did a couple of things where the thing was in the ring and they shot some things from, when they locked up, they shot from under, something like that. So maybe you could call that a cinematic match. I don't, because I don't. It was because it took place in an actual ring. I don't want I wouldn't call it a cinematic match. But if you do, that's fine. That one also was not bad. Not more than not bad. That one was actually great. That would actually be the best one. But again, I'm not counting that one. I'm counting the Boneyard match as one, and then everything else was just garbage. And it needs to go. Cinematic matches were born out of the need for it because of no fans and pre-taping certain things and doing things what you could do. That's one of the things that you can do now is that with pre-taping, you know it helps out with some things. The Randy Orton thing getting hit by a fireball was obviously pre-taped. It was obviously pre-taped um in the beginning of at the beginning of the thing. So the same thing with Randy Orton and the Fiend. All of that was pre-taped before the live show. So it was it was what it was, and um so but it hasn't been great. It hasn't been great. None of it has. And finally, um, how about the king and queen of the ring? Right, the WWE has the last king of the ring was obviously with Baron Corbin, and he won king of the ring. And I think it would be good. I think it would be good. Vince doesn't like tournaments, so That's why I guess that's why he got rid of King of the Ring and everything like that. But the King of the Ring is it's always been great, and it's been best in its original form. It was best in its original form, which is it was eight eight competitors, 3 nights, and it was 3 matches, you know, you know, or not 3 matches, but whatever it was. It was in one night. You had to win 3 matches in one night, more than likely to become the king of the ring. And that's been the best. That's been the best iteration of King of the Ring, and I think that's something that they could totally bring back. Totally could bring back. They could get rid of like the Hell in a Cell show or the things like that, and some of these they didn't do really to begin with. They need to get rid of some of these specialty shows because not only do you need to get rid of these specialty shows because it takes away from the specialty of the match, the Hell in a Cell match and the table TLC match and all those things, and they need to get rid of some of these pay-per-views because I think that would help them out creatively to be able to be creative more or less. They took away half the pay-per-views and all of these things, and maybe well, I don't want to go into that, but why not do a king or queen of the ring? Why not? Maybe why not do you know maybe special episodes of Monday Night Raw where on Monday Night Raw one night is just the King of the Ring. The King of the Ring Raw wrestlers from Raw and SmackDown. Wrestle on for in one night. 3 times for King of the Ring, and then the next week it's the Queen of the Ring where wrestlers from SmackDown and Raw they combine to go on and wrestle for Queen of the Ring. You can do that. Bring that back. It's a great tournament, and it really needs to come back. And I think it should be a yearly thing, you know. And it's a great way. It's also a great way to maybe not only get somebody to be, give somebody another character or give somebody another thing, but it's also good enough to give somebody or elevate somebody and give somebody a shot at the number one contendership, right? Because you always need new ways to find number one contenders and what better ways to win a king or queen of the ring. To recap really quick, what I would like to see in 2021, I want to see crowds back. I want to see Roman stay champion. I want AEW fans to kind of curtail their excitement for AEW. Just realize what it is. Stop over bluffing it. Realize what it is. Once again, I want to see the women main event SummerSlam. I want the AEW wrestlers to listen to the elders. Listen to the people who came before you. I want there to be less injuries in all of the promotions. I want there to be some type of change for Survivor Series, whether it's getting rid of the Raw versus SmackDown, it's or it's adding some stakes to it or something. I want to see the champions unified. I don't think they're gonna happen, but I would love to see it happen, especially for this, the tag champions are like the most ones. It really because they don't have a lot of champions, tag titles, tag teams. Excuse me. No more cinematic matches. Definitely don't want to see no more of those. And I want to see the King of the Ring come back. And I want this to be the first ever Queen of the Ring. So there you have it. My top 10 things I want to see in wrestling in 2021. Post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Let me know what you guys want to see in 2021 in this new year when it comes to professional wrestling. Post it down in the comment section. Make sure you go to the AJTRIP. Make sure you go to patreon.com/AJTRIP20. Make sure you go there and you sign up to become a patron. Once I hit a certain amount of patrons, I will then open it up so that you can let me know what you want to see me do for here on videos. It doesn't have to be about wrestling. It could be about anything, in any of one of my topics. My word according to me is my game according to me is my reaction videos, whatever. It's your choice. Um, what do you want to see me play on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/AJTRIP20? Or what do you want to see me talk or hear me talk about on my podcast? Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. This is your boy, AJTRIP, signing out. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.